welcome back to yet another fantastic week with finally game music. This is episode 154, and this, my friends, is the 4th year anniversary of this podcast. My name is Kristoffer Schenström, and I am the host and creator of this podcast, and I'm so freaking happy about this. I can't really imagine myself like four years ago. It's like, hey, let's keep doing this for 4 years. 154 episodes. It's insane doing this alone. But I have not been alone because I've had so many freaking awesome guests at this show. Sometimes I've had some friends around, but sometimes I'm also had some crazy, insane composers talking about their music and their way of composing music for video games. And yeah, I just feel crazy for all the different people we had on this podcast so far. We also transcended from a Swedish version to a more international English-speaking podcast as well. And there are more things to change as well as, yep, that is it. We're going to change the name of this podcast as well. I've gotten a little bit of different suggestions and such. And I'm just thinking like, let's not rebrand it as a 4-year anniversary kind of thing, and I need to actually think about how I am going to actually make this rebrand happen as well in the most or the best way possible. Am I going to create a new RSS feed, or I don't know, and I also need to fix the logos and everything as well. So there is much more coming to change. I already set the name, but I don't want to spoil it yet. I will actually take that as we're getting closer to the change and major change of this podcast. Now that I finally found a game-changing name, so to speak. I don't know, I'm just gibbering about right now, I feel. But yeah, I've actually picked 4 tracks for this week. We got one requested song as well. The 4 tracks that I picked this week is basically like a reminiscence of what I wanted with this podcast, so I will be a little bit nostalgic as we move along throughout this program. And yeah, other than that, let's just take it as we move along, as I usually do. So welcome this week, everybody, and now let's enjoy some V-Land from the game Mutant Mudds. There we have it, the first track of the week. It's from Mutant Mudds, and this track is called V-Land. And the soundtrack here was created by the American troupe Gamage, or Gamage. I'm a little bit unsure. It sounds very French for some reason. First of all, the first name, Troupe. So unique, in my opinion. The parents must be very special or something like that. I don't know. But I really do enjoy the name, and I really enjoy this track really much. But anyway, so when it comes to the game itself, it was developed by the American studio Renegade Kid, a studio created by the ex-members from the studio Iguana Entertainment. Mutant Mudds was released on the 26th of January 2012, and this was uniquely for the US, and on the 3DS, and later in June, the game was also released in Japan. Mutant Mudds was also later ported, this to PC on the 13th of August and lastly on iOS devices the 5th of December, and this happened back in 2012. I myself did play this game on iOS. It had great controls, music was still fabulous, and I totally enjoy this game. Later, after the ports for different devices, they also did get a Mutant Mudds Deluxe version. This version was released on PC, Wii U, PS Vita, and PS3, and this happened in 2013. And with this version came 20 more challenging levels from the original game. And in 2016, they also did develop a Mutant Mudds Super Challenge game that got released only as a downloadable for Nintendo 3DS, Wii U, and PS4. And this happened in 2016. With some exception here, just gonna point it out because I really do know this one myself without looking at any sheets whatsoever. This is an exception because Limited Run did a real physical version of this game that got released at the same time as the downloadable release. And with the Super Challenge version, this game came with 40 new levels with insane challenge curve. Not even I have even got close to completing this one yet, but I've been pulling it out for my PS4 from time to time, and I really do enjoy this game. Super fun, the music is amazing, and I really do enjoy the platforming in this. So within Mutant Mudds, it's a pretty simple, like, platformer shooter kind of game, as you play around as a little boy. I don't remember his name specifically, but you can either play as the little boy or the grandma in this game, and grandma is just the super character of this game, because she's awesome. While the boy can only have one power-up at a time, grandma can have all of them, such as shooting longer, and traveling with the jetpack further. And the last one, I don't really know if it was the jetpack or something like that, that you can shoot yourself up in the air. I'm a little bit unsure on the third one, but there are 3 different power-ups within this game. It's been such a long time since I played. I played this game like originally on the iOS, and then I got it for the PS4 with the Super Challenge. But I really have fond memories of this game, and what stuck to me within this game is the music. So I really do enjoy the nice music, and the VLAN kind of music here is for when you're playing the original game. The game also comes with challenging kind of room challenges, so to speak. And the VLAN is the challenge room for the boy, while there is a challenge room for grandma as well. So she's very specific for the challenges themselves, but you can utilize her to complete the levels way easier than with the boy. But it's much more challenging and much more fun, to be honest, to play with the boy. I myself did that and noticed that I could play with grandma much later in the game, but who am I to judge? I'm still enjoying the game to the fullest. So unique in this game, for this time at least, was that you can be in the foreground and in the background of the game. So there are certain platforms where you can jump back and forth between the foreground and the background, and you are moving around because the aliens have basically attacked Earth, and you are the only hope by shooting bubbles at the slimy monsters, or slimy slimes, whatever. So you're moving around collecting tokens, and you need to collect all these tokens and all the different kind of collectibles throughout the level in order to get full scores in this game. And you have like a hub world where you can go back and forth between all the different levels within the game, and as soon as you completed all of these, you completed the game as well. And it's just a simple kind of game. You can just pick up, play a level or two, and then just get going with the rest of the day, and at a later time just come back. It's simple and easy to get into, just hard to kind of master sometimes, or certain parts, but you will get there, trust me. I really did myself, because yeah, I'm not that good or great at games all the times. But yeah, looking at the composer here, Trope haven't worked on audio for that many games. Starting out in 2006, however, with the game Within a Deep Forest, following up with Knut the same year, Medieval Moves, Deadman's Quest. However, for this game, he has only done voiceover, as Trope is also a voice actor, making voiceover for games such as Hearthstone and Lord of the Rings Online, just to name a few. He has done so much more work for different series and such, but this is something for the game part at least, so you just know a little bit. He then followed up with some music for Zol Exodus, Muted Muds, and Bomb Monkey in 2012. More voiceover for the game Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded, which is a remake of the first game, and this was released back in 2013. Then You Must Build a Boat in 2015, also a great freaking game, just requesting everybody to just try it out, maybe. It's on the phone as well. And lastly, on Sky Shine's Bedlam Redux, that got released in 2016. Looking at Troop, he is currently working as an audio lead in the American studio Heart Machine, composing music for the game Solar Ash that is coming out this year. And for people who might recognize the name, yes, this is the game that did work on Hyperlight Drifter. Oh, sorry, I almost freaked out there a bit. I'm so sorry, guys. But yeah, so it's amazing to see that he works for such a prominent studio. I really do enjoy Heart Machine's other work. I did play Hyperlight Drifter, and I really did enjoy the game. At first, I really did not, but over time, this game grew on me. And till this day, I still have no freaking clue of what the game was about. But I did enjoy the combat system, and it was fun just to see all the unique kind of graphic style and art that it came with at the time of its release. But yeah, this was Mutant Muds. I really do enjoy this game, and I highly recommend it to everybody who likes platformers. Both hard and still something you can kind of push through, so to speak. So highly recommend it, and if you did enjoy this track, well, look no further. Go check out the rest of the track. But yeah, when it comes to Mutant Muds, it will have to, because of the sound style they used for this game, I think this one suits more of the retro kind of style, even though Mutant Muds isn't essentially a retro type game. But yeah, when it comes to this podcast, we've been looking at playing music from all the different ranges of games, and today we'll kind of prove that to a point, at least. Because other things that might not be like video game wise, we also have the different genres that kind of grew out of the video games and became its own genre. I'm talking about chiptune and the demo scene. We have done a couple of episodes with chiptune artists, but also on the demo scene. And there will be more coming in the future as well on these topics, and hopefully we will be able to talk more about the different kind of demo scenes, but also chiptuning with other composers in the future. But today we're going to listen to another chiptune from the demo scene, and this is BRD with Teleport Pro KG. Teleport Pro KG, and this was BRD that made this and composed this song. And yeah, this will represent the chiptune and the demo scene of this episode, because yeah, there's a lot of genres that kind of came out and represent, composing just awesome music in my opinion. But this kind of stems from just the demo scene mainly. BRD was pretty active back in the day, and I might think that he or she still is. When it comes to the demo scene, it is sometimes really hard to find the people behind, because usually when it comes to demo scene, there were a couple of pirates, so to speak. You have these demo groups, and they were really eager to just go through and try to crack most of the games, and the reason for this also added up to not that many people wanted to show their names, because if they did, they would be easy to find. Understandable. But yeah, mostly when I grew up, and I have been talking about this a couple of times, I'm just a little bit unsure if I have talked about it during the English version of the podcast. So I really do enjoy the modular scene. The SID music chip from the C64 is amazing as well. I'm really eager to always find new music when it comes to the demo scene. I really do enjoy the music and the chiptune art of it. There are some amazing chiptune artists as well on the daily life, where we can actually hear the chiptune music within games. For example, we have Chipsel for one, which we did actually talk about during our River City Girl guest here, and we talked about that soundtrack. But yeah, so coming to people in the demo scene, it's really hard to actually find names on these people usually. But looking at BRD, I did not find actually a name here, but I do know that the person comes from France and was also a part of the French group called Mystics. And most of the music BRD did was for so-called crack throws, where we can basically get keys that we can utilize to actually crack or hack a program or software, for example, or even games. But to my opinion, I really do enjoy the music themselves and the art they usually do for these ones. I did crack a couple of games and software back in the days, but I don't do it now that I have money and everything. Usually because I did it was because there was so freaking much that I wanted, and I wanted to play all the time. So that was basically the only reason, because I did not have the funds. Now I have the funds, so now I can basically do it right, so to speak. And back in the day, I really did enjoy the music, as I said, and just utilizing the music, but also the art that came with them, was just fantastic. And one of my favorite things to do when I was over at DreamHack, for example, which is one of the biggest LAN parties in the world, that was happening here in Sweden. One of the best things I was always eager to see was the demo scene happenings, the wild cards, the different kind of wild combos and such. So usually they have contests focusing around art styles or graphical styles, so to speak. You have wild art where it can be basically anything. You had people doing their own music, and I always downloaded everything because they were so freaking amazing. And hopefully this song just proved the point, and I know I have a couple of episodes where we talked more in depth about these as well, and more will come in the future. Maybe we will be able to look at specific groups, for example, what type of music did they come out with, for example, and such. And yeah, there's not much more for me to add specifically here, more than I'm just really happy to be able to talk about these different things. They are a great interest of mine, but I hope some of you who only might listen to video game music also really do enjoy these chiptune and modular songs as well, because they do widen a little bit, in my opinion, when it comes to video game music, as video game music tends more to just become modern music today, as well, we're starting to just fade out the different lines here between what is music and what is video game music, to be honest. There's soon not much left. But when it comes to chiptune and such, they usually stem as they usually use sounds from the older consoles or older sound of a console, and I really do enjoy this, and it's fucking amazing. I'm sorry I said the F word now, but what the hell? It's so freaking good in my opinion. But now we're following up with a request song here. So this is a request done by Johannes over on our Instagram, and his following comment goes like this. I would like to request a song for the 4-year anniversary. Love the Subhuman Self, a Milius theme from the Guilty Gear Strive. The fourth mainline fighting game in the Guilty Gear series. Fitting, right? And then a small winking emoji there. Hopefully I can turn some of you people into the GG nuts with this awesome music. Good job on making this podcast for 4 years, and let's go for another 4. Take care. And with that said, let's dive into Love the Human Self Milius theme from the game Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive, Love the Subhuman Self Amelia's theme, and this was a requested song by Johannes. Thank you so much, this was a freaking blast. I know, usually when we're getting suggested tracks for this podcast, it's usually rock and roll, and I really do enjoy it. Guilty Gear is not a favorite game of mine, but I have tried it a couple of times. But yeah, for me it's just a basic fighting game, and I really do enjoy it, but it's not something that I'm getting stuck within, that I'm really fond of. It's been so much time before that even happened to me. I really did enjoy the Street Fighter games and so on, but yeah, it's usually fun to play for a while, but then I just noticed I'm really bad at them, and then I kind of tend to lose focus on them and start playing other games instead. And since I've been playing so many different games all the time, I'm usually just jumping from one genre to another all the time, getting stuck from time to time in different kind of genres. Fighting games like these have not been a main focus for me. Not ever, to be honest. But my most fondest memories are when I was younger and we basically played Street Fighter 2 against each other and had a great time at that. Everybody was just spamming anything, like playing Blanca, Honda, or Chun-Li, for example, and just clicking one button if we couldn't do anything cool. Until somebody started teaching everybody the Hadouken to everybody, and then everybody was just standing with range combat against each other, because fun times. But yeah, looking at Guilty Gear, it is a fantastic game when it comes to art and music specifically, in my opinion. And looking at the soundtrack here, before we kind of stride down a memory lane or something like that, the soundtrack here was created by the Japanese Daisuke Ishiwatari, and this was done in-house, so to speak, at the studio. But the game or soundtrack was also co-created together with Shunsuke Takizawa, which was an outsourcing job from the Japanese studio Tritone Labo. Vocals for this track was provided by the Japanese Naoki Haishimoto, also known as just Naoki, and Aisha, who is a Japanese R&B singer. Looking at the game, it was developed by the Japanese studio Arc System Works, and the game was released worldwide as a downloadable game for PC, PS4, and PS5 on the 11th of June 2021. And looking at the composers here, Daisuke is not just a composer when it comes to this series, it's actually amazing how much he has done within the game series of Guilty Gear. So looking at the Guilty Gear series here on the different position he has had throughout the game series is writer, character design, business parts, game design, and so much more. It's just like whatever. But looking at primarily, he has been voice acting and composing mainly or primarily within the series of Guilty Gear. And he started out his development back in 1995 with the game Virtual Open Tennis and Executor. And the game he followed up with was the Guilty Gear series, and ever since the first game that got released back in 1998. Other games he has worked on ever since is the following: Battle Fantasia in 2008, Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger 2011, also a great game, just saying, Hard Corps Uprising in 2011, and then yet again a Blaze Blue Central Friction back in 2017. The other composer here has not, or Shansuke, have not worked on that many video game titles. He is mainly focusing on anime series and movies through the Japanese studio he's working at, the Tritone Labo. But he have composed music for the Guilty Gear and the Blaze Blue series, with a start in 2015 with the Guilty Gear X3rd Sign, and then the Guilty Gear X3rd Rev 2 back in 2017, and then Blaze Blue Central Friction in 2017, and then finally, boom, this game, the Guilty Gear Strive. And yeah, it's so amazing to just see Daisuke here. It's just insane to see someone be so, like, really worked into a game. He basically has done, like, everything in the game at some certain point and in different directions of the game. It's like the first game he did this, the second game he did this and that, and in third game he did this and this and that, and so on. It's just insane to see this going on. We don't see this that often, not certainly when we have already established companies, so to speak. So it's really fun to see someone so driven within the game, rather than just like voice acting and composing in this case, where he basically started, but actually getting into every other kind of aspect of the game. And it seems that he is really good at what he's doing as well. Just listen to this music, man. What can I say? What can I say? But it is amazing. I really do enjoy the game because it looks so freaking unique. They have a really unique kind of art style, which is basically a cell shader. So they have 3D characters so they can move around the cameras and everything, instead of making like cinematic sprite-based animations for this. So they have fully 3D, and they've added a system to make this cell shading kind of dark shadow going on, so it looks like a 2D character. And I really do enjoy it. There's some fantastic kind of talks about these and the project, or how they kind of went with the art style. So it's super amazing just to get to know this as a developer myself. I just enjoy this so freaking much. But yeah, yet again, Johannes, thank you so much for requesting this song. I think this kind of sums up a really great deal of all the different suggestions that we gotten all up until this day, because there's a lot of different tracks that I usually don't pick, and well, even though I like rock and roll that a lot, so there's way more of you guys, listeners, who request these type of songs, and I really do enjoy them. For first of all, I don't play Guilty Gear to the extensive kind of way for me to get to know these songs specifically, so it's great for you guys to come along with these tracks for me. I really do enjoy them, and I highly believe that I will actually start listening to the soundtrack now. So you succeeded, Johannes. Someone is going to listen, even though I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to listen to the soundtrack at least. So, with that said, let's head into the next song of this week. This is a more local kind of track, as, well, I've met up with this composer before, a couple of times, and I know the Rhythm and Pixels podcast are eager to get a talk with this guy as well. I hope I can get him before them, just saying. So, yeah, this is the stage 12, Where the Turtles Roam, from the game Bot Vice. finally fading out the awesome tunes from Botvice. This was stage 12, Where the Turtles Roam. And I don't know about you guys, but for some reason it really sounds like either a Mega Man X track and something from Turtles in Time. And I don't know if that could be a pun, Where the Turtles Roam, but the swinginess of this freaking tune, I just love it. And when it comes to Dominic Ninmark, who is the composer for this, the Swedish composer Dominic Ninmark, I just love all the types of music he has done. And it actually started way before, and it just getting the first meetup with him was, in my opinion, it was like getting starstruck, to be honest. I really did enjoy my first meeting with him as he was playing on the after party as the DJ, and I actually started talking to him a little bit about the different projects and different music that he's done, and I really don't hope I didn't come forward as some kind of creep or something like that, but I really do enjoy the music that he made. It really synchronized with the type of music that I usually love. I love the swinginess, I love the different kind of audio that he chooses for his different tracks, and he has so many other tracks with different kind of Eurobeat and Euro kind of edge to it, and I really enjoy that type of music as well. And I just wish we had more of these people, to be honest, because that would just sync me up so freaking bad. I would just melt, to be honest. But yeah, so the soundtrack here for Botvice was created by the Swedish Dominic Ninmark. If you guys did not understand the beginning here, me jabbering all about, sounded like a starstruck person. So the game here was developed by the Spanish brothers, who goes under the studio name of DYA Games. The brothers are Daniel and Alberto Vilches Carpio. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I didn't. If I did, please tell me how I should do it correctly, or maybe come along on the podcast and let's talk about games. The game here was released on the 11th of July on PC, Mac, and Linux, and this was released worldwide. The game later got a port on the Nintendo Switch between the 10th and 12th of April. Well, it's not that I'm not sure, it's just that on the 10th of April it released in the US, the 11th of April in Europe, and on the 12th of April it released it in New Zealand. So yeah, that is the game itself. I haven't played Botvice itself, but as they're describing the game on their homepage, it is a gallery shooter. So you're shooting basically from a little bit of the foreground, even though the game is shown as like a 2D type of game. But yeah, you're basically playing some sort of character that fires a lot of bullets, like a classic shoot 'em up, but you're shooting from below and going up, and so on. I can't really say that much else, other than I've been listening to this soundtrack a lot of times. Ever since I started noticing more of Dominic's work, I actually just kept buying his soundtracks from here and there, because as I said, the music of this type really syncs up with me. I really do enjoy this a lot. So looking at Dominic's first published soundtrack, that actually was for Botvice. But before that, I do actually know for a fact that he has been working on the soundtrack for the fan project called Mega Man X Corrupted. But this game has not yet been released, even though he does have all the music over at his YouTube channel. So you can just jump over there and get to know the music from that Mega Man X project if you would like to. It has a lot of feel vibe like this track we just listened to. And also, that is the first time when I actually got in touch with Dominic. I actually did not know it was Dominic at first. I actually just listened to the music and followed the project. And all of a sudden, I just noticed his name, like Dominic Ninmark. Started looking him up, looking at the different projects and everything, and I really did enjoy his tunes. And this is something that I want to point out as well. What I did for Dominic here, finding his music and started researching, that is something I'm trying to do with this podcast. Over the course of time here, I don't know if I kind of lost the track of it or trying to get back to it, but I kind of want to have it like freeform as well as a podcast. But the focus on this one is actually teaching you guys that are listening to this about the different composers, about the different games themselves, talking about the music, and hopefully getting some interest in it. I'm not purposely choosing all the best tracks all the time, but I'm choosing great series or games that I really do enjoy and that I most likely highly also recommend to you guys. But actually getting you guys more interested in the music, either buying a vinyl, buying the CD, or actually just going in and say, freaking good job to the composers. That would make me so freaking happy. So if you're just listening to this today, please stop the podcast right now. Just pause it. Kind of understand my own kind of vision here. You paused it before you kind of got into what I was going to say. So let's rewind a little bit. Don't pause it yet. Or you paused it and then just never understood why. But actually just go to a composer that you do enjoy and that you may be following on social media or anything basically. Or yeah, just something. Maybe you know a composer that you like a lot. Go to them. Tell them that you really do enjoy the music and that you heard, or well, if you did hear Dominic and you really like his, please do that. And it's like, hey, I found your music on Finally Game Music, and I really do enjoy it. You're one of my favorite composers, or whatever you want to throw in there. Make them feel what you feel when you're listening, when you are listening to the music they composed. Let them know that you enjoy the music they created. But anyway, so pause now, do that, and let's get back to the track here. So looking at Dominic here, just continuing up. Dominic has actually worked on music for a couple of DYA's games here, following the games with Strikey Sisters back in 2017. We have Viviette in 2018, and then this is not a DYA project. And I don't remember exactly which studio this is, but if I remember correctly, it is a Swedish studio, but I might be, so don't take me on these words, but this is, the last game Dominic worked on was Blazing Chrome back in 2019. I'm pretty sure he has something else in the corner of my eyes here, but it's not shown yet on the different credit list that I'm looking around on. But yeah, Dominic is still active, working on music. I'm pretty sure about that one. Other than that, I know that he does his own kind of projects as well. So highly recommend just following on YouTube. That is one of the easiest ways to get to know his latest tracks, so to speak. And with that said, let's head into the last song of the week. It's going to be beautiful, because this is Nier Automata with A Beautiful Song. And there we're fading out the epicness of A Beautiful Song from the game Nier Automata. The song here was composed specifically by the Japanese Keigo Hoashi. The full soundtrack was also composed by the Japanese Keiichi Okabe, Kuniyuki Takahashi, and Kakeru Ishihama. I'm sorry for reading it a little bit slow, but if I read it any faster, I would totally slaughter that name. So, rather correct than incorrect, I hope. And I hope you guys understand. Well, looking at the composers here, they were all being a part of the music production studio Monaka. And the game was developed by the Japanese studio Platinum Games. There were also some other co-created studios as well, working with different arts and gameplay mechanics and everything, but mainly it is Platinum Games that worked on this game. The game was released initially back in 2017 on PC and PS4, And the game was also added to PlayStation Now in August this year. The game did have a couple of re-releases, such as the Black Box Edition back in 2017, Become a God Edition in 2018, and lastly the Game of Yora Edition in 2019. And if we go into more specifications here on the different composers, we have Kiego, who started out his career back in 2009 with the start of his composition and arrangement for the game Tekken 6. Then he did a full yin and yang movement after that one by working on the game Katamari Forever, that also was released in the same year. Following up with the first Nier game back in 2010, Drakengard 3 back in 2013, Sinnoh Alice and Nier Automata in 2017, Fate or Extella, Link in 2019, and lastly the latest edition of the Nier series with Nier Replicant in 2021. Keiichi, the second composer here, started out early with his first work in game being Ridge Racer back in 1994, and mainly working on fighting series games such as Tekken, with his first Tekken game being the Tekken 3 from 1997, following up with Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles in 2005, and then working with music arrangement for the Super Smash Bros. For Wii U in 2014. There are a lot more games, but I won't be able to go through each and every game because there are so many. But these are some, at least, looking at it. But as we move along with Keiichi here, he have worked on most of the games that Kiego have worked on as well. And even in the latest mobile edition, being the Nier Reincarnation game that did release this year, as well as the Nier Replicant game. Looking at the third composer here, Kuniyuki, started with Suikoden's 5 back in 2006, followed up with Dream Chronicles 4 years later, that would be 2010, and then worked on Drakengard 3 together with Kiego and Keiichi in 2013, and later following up with the two latest Nier games that did get a release on console, so that would be Nier Automata and Nier Replicant. And the fourth and last composer for this soundtrack is Kaikuru, and starting out in 2009 with the game Half Minute Hero, and then the next year he worked on the games Walk It Out and Nier together with Keiichi, and lastly he worked on Nier Replicant in 2021. So looking at the different composers here, Kaikuru is the one who worked on the least amount of soundtracks so far. But yeah, when it comes to Nier Automata, this is a game I have been completing my first round and almost my second round. And I can actually agree with a lot of people in the beginning. I was not too fond of the game. It's not really my type of style, and I'm a little bit allergic when it comes to open world games due to the time it takes to actually play them. And I know when I'm playing an open world game, you have a lot of different collectibles. Oh, please go and harvest this resource, or please do this side quest, do this, do that, do that. I am really easy distracted when it comes to these things. It's always like, today I'm going from this place and I'm going over there. And then I'm always this kind of guy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. And that freaking candy thing, I might even be further away from the target I had when I started this session 4 or 5 hours later, and I don't know why. And this is the reason why I know I'm getting too invested into open world games, and that is why I don't like them. I don't know about you guys, but when I tend to play these games, I usually want to explore everything. I want to get the full story, and I just want to explore the world. But in the other perspective, all the time you're losing for not that much of a bang. You get to know a person, and you get to know that the person likes apples. It's like, okay, I spent 3 hours just to make myself know that a character likes apples. What am I doing with my life? I'm getting the feeling. And then I just head back into something else where I can actually just like a mechanic, or I can enjoy a graphical choice or something like that. That instead of having like 8 hours of exploration in one region just to get to point A to point B, I can actually complete the full game with story and everything. This is so easy. Why? So I kind of become frustrated when it comes to open world games, and Nier Automata is one of these games. I did not get fully frustrated with the game, but I tended to just get bored sometimes because I know what I'm getting myself into. But as I did complete the first circle of the game, I started to notice a lot of different things happening. First of all, you're getting, well, let's just say that you're getting something else when you play it a second time and then a third time. A lot of people recommend people to just play Nier Automata at least 3 times. Because you are getting something else and something new within each and every play session you're doing. Not session themselves, but every time you're going around to New Game Plus, so to speak. It's not called New Game Plus, I'm just pointing it out there. Something else is happening, and I don't want to spoil it. Even though I kind of want to say something about it, and I've only played the first and the second route, so to speak. But yeah, I really do enjoy this, and I understand why a lot of people do love this game as well. And when it comes to the music, it's actually bombastic, it is epic, and it's very emotional. And I really do enjoy it. And there's some mini games that I really do enjoy in this game as well, such as the hacking and so on. And the fading between like the real world music that you're hearing as you're making combat, and then you're heading into this hacking kind of game, and they're making like a bit tune of, or chip tune of the real track here. It's just fabulous, and I really do enjoy these parts as well. So there's a lot of different things and angles within this game that you can enjoy. And then on top of that, we have this fantastic story that is told throughout the actions of the world and the characters you are playing. And that was it for this week's episode. This was the 4th anniversary, and I hope you enjoyed the tracks that I picked this week. And yet again, thank you so much, Johannes, for suggesting a song for this week. And with that said, you can find all of the other episodes of Finally Game Music on our homepage, Videospelsklubben.se, Spotify, or in your closest podcast app. Feel free to follow and give comments on one of our social medias, either on Facebook or Instagram. Just search for Finally Game Music and you'll find us there. If you would like to hear your name within one of these episodes, then feel free to request a song for an upcoming episode by commenting on any of our social pages or on our official Discord that we have. You'll find that link on Videospelsklubben.se. You can also support this podcast for future content and quality updates, and this will actually include the different rebranding. So if you guys will like to help me out on the rebranding part financially, that will mean a lot to me. But other than that, when I'm done with everything I need, we're going to create a brighter future for future composers. So we will work as like a fund, and I'm looking forward to get this going actually. So please do think about becoming a Patreon for this podcast. Every little money, dollar, cent counts. And with our current awesome backers that we have today, we have Andreas Nilsson and Daniel Onemark. So thank you so much for being part and supporting this podcast. Links to where you can either buy or support the composers behind the music that we'll listen to today, you will find those in our main post at Videospelsklubben.se. And next week's thematic is going to be a composer one. And I just close my eyes and just, hey, I want to know this person. And then I open my eyes and boom, we're getting Alexander Brandon. I had no freaking clue, but from a quick look, it's going to be a pretty interesting episode, I can already tell. So with that said, do take care everybody, and see you all guys next time.